So Arkansas and Auburn is one where it's an interesting matchup, right? It's another SEC matchup that we have uh, playing at Auburn. They've been on this home stretch this year that they're extremely lucky to have, but then they have to go on the road a little bit later. Arkansas coming in off of a win, although disappointed against UAB. Auburn coming in with this new redshirt freshman quarterback that they're excited, who's not Peyton Thorne, and hopefully won't throw as many picks. So I'm excited for this one. How are you feeling for Arkansas and Auburn?
Yeah, I hopefully will not throw as many picks. I'm really excited for this one. This game feels like fall.
Yeah.
Razorbacks, Tigers, Jordan O'Hare. It feels right. And my notes say, is it a Hank Brown game or is it a Taylen Green game? That's no shade to Jaquindon Jackson. We understand what he's doing. He is top 2 in the SEC and rushing contribution. It's been such a fun season for him. This is what makes college football so great. These transfer stories, people come into new programs and, continue to elevate. But is it going to be Taylen Green getting his touch back in the air this game because his feet are incredible, or is it Hank Brown emerging to be the new guy in Auburn?
Yeah. I think Hank Brown could be the new guy here. It's going to depend on what he gets out of the Arkansas defense. Arkansas defense hasn't been playing to the potential that they can with the schemes that they've got. Hugh Freeze talked about it this week that Arkansas is really deceptive on defense. It's going to pose a test for someone like Hank Brown, who is that redshirt freshman coming in with not a lot of experience. Arkansas giving these different looks. But last week against UAB, they got pretty cooked out of the slot. They gave up a touchdown, 81 yards. Oklahoma State scored out of that position as well. So I can see Auburn here bringing that sort of pressure, offensive attack out of the slot. A little bit easier for your young quarterback to string passes together there as opposed to airing it out downfield. I like Arkansas, though, offensively. I think that they've beat themselves a lot on offense mistakes. Taylen Green with the pick 6 against Oklahoma State that started the comeback drive. Last week, not being able to put it, any passing touchdowns together, 11 for 26 for 161. If he can start finding his guys, if the defense can perform to the level that they are, I really like Arkansas. Best running back. I think, no shade to Dylan Sampson. I think Jaquindon Jackson might be the best running back in the SEC. So if he gets another game like last week, 10 yards per carry and 147 yards, I really like
It's
Arkansas.
his conference. It's his conference.
Yeah.
It's going to be his conference. I mean, that performance was impressive. And, I agree with everything you're saying, especially on Arkansas's offense. It's looks so explosive. I think over 30 points against over at least over 20 something points against Oklahoma State and, over 30 points against UAB. And it has been a lot of mistakes that have beat them up on the offensive side. And so it's a better position to be in where you look impressive and you have to clean up mistakes versus looking unimpressive and still having mistakes. Obvious statement, but that's where we are with Arkansas, and that's why they keep toggling up and down in our stock up, stock down to power rankings. And so for this game, I would expect them to put it together. I would expect to see on the offensive side them put up a high performance of points, 28 plus. The defensive side, my notes again, how do we rate Arkansas's defense this far? I was really hype on Travis Williams, their DC, leading this defense, and this was a top 5 defense last year in the SEC, but it hasn't looked as impressive. And so that doesn't lend to the offensive production, setting into the game to keep a good distance, right? It feels like every game that Arkansas is playing, they are in this rubber match all game. And you're waiting for the defense on the Arkansas side to kind of get more stops and to show up more, to keep the offense being able to score more. But
yeah,
we'll see.
I think with Arkansas's defense, we've seen Auburn put up some points. They put up a lot of points last week. Hank Brown looked good. Aside from the interceptions that Peyton Thorne had against Cal, like Auburn hasn't looked terrible. But Auburn shouldn't get too high. New Mexico is second to last in yards given up in college football. So you tried out this guy, build up his confidence. He wasn't playing against, an SEC team. He was playing against New Mexico. So Arkansas defense has an opportunity to shift the narrative, I think, on Hank Brown. Force some mistakes. They haven't been good at getting turnovers. They've only forced 2 on the year. But like I mentioned, Auburn quarterback's young. He has all the weapons at hand. We know where Arkansas's holes are on their defense. for Taylen Green, against New Mexico, a team like New Mexico, they were able to string together long drives, complete huge chunk plays. The DB for Auburn, Antonio Kite, gave up that huge play, gave up another touchdown later. They were kind of picking on him a little bit until he got the interception. So I can see where there's holes on both teams, and it's kind of on the defense. Both teams have gone over the point total in the last 5 of their 6 games played. So they're both high-powered offenses. They know how to score, but there's those changes going on. Does the Arkansas tone it back a little bit and play a more composed, fundamental game? And then was it just a New Mexico performance for Auburn that they won't be able to replicate against SEC teams, only putting up 14 against Cal?
Which is a fair point. You know, when you were talking about the defensive side and both teams having holes, I thought about what Auburn was able to do with the rushing game against Cal, and you know, shutting down Jay Knott and really keeping a pretty low rushing total for Cal in that game. It didn't result in a win, but it is the closest test we will have seen to what they'll see this week with Jaquindon Jackson. I have the same thoughts when it comes to the New Mexico matchup. These group of 5 matchups show up at the perfect time when you need a backup quarterback, you need another quarterback, and it's like the SEC quarterback, of course, they're going to be good and dominating this game. And that's not to take away from Hank Brown's performance, because it was very impressive. But I'm excited to see it against a top team, or a top, ish SEC team like Arkansas. Mm-hmm. I'm a believer. I think he will do his part. I just think that Arkansas will do their part more. Like I would expect Arkansas fans to lead this game feeling like, I feel good about the direction of where the quarterback position is going. Like 2 TDs, 1 pick. But I think Taylen Green is a special talent. This is someone who has had success at the highest level from the Mountain West, championship. Like that experience plays a role into this easy, transcendent, progression we've seen thus far. And I think it's only going to go up from there. And so for me, prediction wise, I have Arkansas 35-21.
All right. I like Arkansas as well. For Auburn to win this game, consistency on offense is what they need. With Cal, their defense put them back on the field in positions to win the game, or at least tie the game multiple times, and then they tossed it away. Different quarterback, but I can't put all that on Peyton Thorne. You had the Cam Coleman, missed catch that led to the interception. We saw the poor route running that led to the miscommunication between the quarterback and the receivers. Consistency on offense, they can win here, because we know the holes in Arkansas defense. For Arkansas, I think the key is that defense. If they can put it together, show those different looks, confuse this young quarterback, I could see Arkansas going up. Like I mentioned, they've been over the point total in 5-6 games so far. I could see it going under here. Each team maybe having some turnovers. Until they clean it up on the field, I'm not going to rule out some turnovers. Right. They're also strong in the run game, which we know burns clock for Arkansas. Arkansas 27, Auburn 20. Woo pig.
Woo pig, Suey.